Heavenly Father, there's no storm that God won't carry us through, no bridge that God won't help you cross, no battle that God won't help you win. Trust God and never give up. Amen.
Amen. Good morning, Commissioners.
Start us out.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anyone on the agenda, in the audience that would like to make a comment or has a question relating to an item on the agenda? Yes, sir.
Jason Sutter, Huntsburg Township.
Could you come to the microphone, please?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Jason Sutter, Huntsburg Township. I work for Burton Township. I have a comment about number 7 on the Commissioner's agenda, the road name change proposal.
Hold on. Mr. Sutter, if you would like to make comment about the road name change, I would probably recommend that we do it during the public hearing, because
Okay.
anybody providing testimony during that time has to be sworn in.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Let me make sure I turn this off. Okay, item number 2. On May 29th, I approved for the dog warden the hiring of Dean Helkowski to the position of Deputy Dog Warden number 1602 to be effective June 11th, 2026 at the rate of $20.90 per hour with a 1-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. I also approved for the dog warden the hiring of Michael Hurtna to the position of part-time shelter attendant number 1607-1 to be effective June 5th, 2026 at the rate of $15.89 per hour with a 1-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. On May 29th, for the Department of Water Resources, I approved and executed the service contract with Jamison Well Drilling to perform well maintenance services as needed at various locations within the department for a 1-year period, effective May 29, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $10,000. On June 1st, 2026, I approved for maintenance and unpaid personal leave of absence for Erica Siebert, full-time custodian, number 1906, for 40 hours during the period of June 22nd, 2026 through June 26, 2026. This will extend her probationary period by 40 hours or 5 days. On June 1st, I concurred with the Bainbridge Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on a liquor license being requested by Chagrin Acquisition Limited, Chagrin Valley Athletic Club, located at 17260 Snyder Road, Chagrin Falls, Ohio, OCT TRFO 10011-323-1. And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adrian is still working on the financials.
Okay.
The copy machine was not printing properly this morning, so we can skip down to item number 4, and when Adrian is back, we can
Sounds good.
go back to it.
Sheriff, you want to come up? We'll jump to number 4.
Morning.
Morning.
Scott Hildenbrand, Tom Rowan, Sheriff's Office. Number 4 is the agreement for professional services with Signature Health to provide jail inmates with dental care. We talked about this a little bit at the budget hearings. It's been very difficult. We have to provide that dental care for the inmates. It's been difficult to find somebody. We can't find anybody to come to the jail anymore. But we found somebody that will treat them, but we have to take them to Paynesville to have that treatment. It's just like anything else. You don't know how many people are going to need it. It's very difficult to budget for, but we need to get this contract in place first so that we have some place to take them when we do need that.
What happened with the prior contract?
The guy pretty much said he was not doing
He
it anymore.
retired.
Okay, yeah, I figured something.
He was an old dentist out of Newberry, and he was You're like, yeah, I'm retiring, I'm done. And then I've checked with some friends of mine that I know that are dentists, and they advertise on their message boards, and we could not get anybody to do it, so.
Okay. How will this pricing, do you think, will impact your budget going forward compared to the old contract?
Right. Depends on how many people go. You know, it's one of those things where you just, it's like medical for the inmates. You don't know. We've got a rough idea, especially this being a new thing. We don't have anything to compare it to. So we're going to kind of play it by ear at this point.
How much did you spend last year on the dental service?
Nothing, right?
No, because, well, I mean, there was a bill here or there where we just, the jail would just call up a dentist somewhere and say if they can get us in. And then any of the ICE detainees, that all goes through MedPAR, so it doesn't cost us anything. So I think it was pretty minimal at best in any dental stuff that we did. And it's nothing elaborate. If it's like, we're not paying for dentures or any of that kind of stuff. If it's a bad tooth, they pull it. They try and do what they can, but it's nothing too crazy.
I'll make a motion to approve number
Second.
4.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Number 5?
Number 5, this is obviously something that we've met in executive session on several times. I believe that we are in a unique position. I don't think there's any other county offices that are having the issue that we have with hiring. We're trying to avoid any kind of what we'll call signing bonus, which is what a lot of other police departments are doing to try to recruit people. By offering this health care immediately or very soon after they're employed is another way that we can attract people. And quite frankly, if we hire somebody from another agency that they already have health care, they're going to have COBRA, we can pay their COBRA. But if we can offer it through the county, it's going to save the county money, because that COBRA always costs more, because to administer it, you pay more, and you don't know what plan they're on at this previous employer. We have had employees, candidates that have turned down the offer because of the fact that they would have to wait 60 days. So we came to the commissioners several times, and we've had these discussions that we really need, we are the only office or department in the county that ask our people to go out there and deal with violent people and to put their lives on the line. And I think it's only fair that we at least ask the county to provide health care for them, as they could get health care the first day as Amazon. You go to work at Amazon, they give you the health care on the first day. And that's something that attracts their employees. They do that to attract employees. And at least we could do is ask our officers, our deputies, our dispatchers, our corrections officers, that come to work for us and we will provide you with health care the same as they do in Amazon. It's a recruitment issue. I feel that we are unique in the fact that we have a lot of competition. There's not a lot of people applying. The feeling in the entire country is against law enforcement, and people aren't lining up to take that abuse, take that chance. I mean, just recently in South Carolina, you had a deputy killed. He was going on a routine call welfare check, and the crazy man comes out and shoots him. Kills one of them, shoots the other one in the vest. They do a 2-day manhunt. They finally get the guy. I mean, the world is a different place, and we are right in the middle of that. We need to handle those situations. We're asking our deputies to go out there and handle those situations. I don't think it's unreasonable that we offer health care to those people when they first start. When we hire them, it would be very nice to be able to tell them, yes, we're going to take care of you. We care about it. We care about you and your family. And we're asking that the commissioners allow us to provide health care for them. And it's much easier to do it through the county. And people that have health care already, we could pay their COBRA, we know that. But that, number one, it's going to cost more. That doesn't help us with the guy that just comes out of the police academy that doesn't have insurance. We need to be able to offer that insurance because these other places are doing it. Lake County, which is probably the closest to us and the biggest competitor, are not only offering health care right away, they're offering signing bonuses up to $10,000 if you come to work for them. So I don't see this as a big cost to the county. I think it's a benefit. I think it shows that you care about them. And if you're going to come to Geauga County, we're going to take care of you. So we're asking that you do this. I realize that I don't know if it's this resolution, but it may be just a trial period, but at least see how it works. We spend months, hundreds of hours on backgrounds for these people. That no other department in the county does that. We go and visit their neighbors. We go and visit their previous employers. We go and visit their schools. We spend a lot of time on backgrounds to hire the right people. And in turn, I believe that we get the best of the best and we're able to retain them a lot longer. They aren't here as a stepping stone. This is a career. They're going to do their career in Geauga County. We've had a record number of people that have retired from here. That wasn't always the case. In the old days when it was 1,000 people applying for a job, this would be a stepping stone. It's not that anymore. We're attracting people from other agencies. They want to come to work here because of the benefits and because of the work environment and because the county is a safer place to work than many other places. And the people of Geauga County are, I'm going to say, more friendly than some of the other counties.
Sheriff, could you talk just a little bit about like your hiring practice, just a little bit more, just, in terms of how long it is, just to, I guess, further distinguish these candidates, which today we're talking about sheriff's deputies, correctional officers, and dispatchers only. Like, you touched on it a little bit with the background checks, but are we talking like weeks or months in terms of the time investment in your hiring process?
Like I said, it's generally months, it's hundreds of hours. We have one person assigned to that. And regardless of whether they're a deputy or a dispatcher or a corrections officer, they're working in the same environment. They're dealing with the public. They're dealing with people that aren't rational at all times. So we want to make sure that we make those backgrounds and very thorough. So we spend a lot of time, when an applicant comes, we come and talk to them and see if they have the right attitude. They seem like they're going to fit. At that point, they have to fill out a background check packet, which takes them usually a week to fill it out. Because, like I said, we're going to go talk to their spouse, their significant other, their neighbors. How's he been? How's she been? Is she a good neighbor? Is she friendly? Whatever. We want the right people in that job, so we spend a lot of time. We invest a lot into that prior to even offering them the job. So, to get through all of that, and then at the end they say, well, what do you mean? I can't have health care for 2 months? It's just not right. I don't believe it's right. I think that's something that the county should be able to offer them. That I think we're unique in the fact that we spend that much time. We try to pick the very best, and we're in a competitive environment. Even the prosecutor will admit that. We are unique in that fact, that people aren't lining up to get in here. We need to be able, this is one of the obstacles that we've run into, and this is something that we can take that obstacle away and be able to provide that to the people. And in many cases, we're going to save money by not paying the COBRA.
So to the board, the resolution that we have lined up, We have talked to SEBCO, which is our healthcare servicer. They did say that it is within the authority of the board to determine the waiting periods for healthcare benefits. The way that it's currently written, there is a decision point. This is a trial period for those three groups. Again, deputies, correctional officers, and dispatchers. And it's written in such a way that it would give the board another decision point prior to open season. So that would allow us administratively within the department to be able to assess, what is the manpower, the workload associated with this change in benefit for that group, and then make a determination in advance of open season. Is this something we want to no longer do, both from a financial and administrative standpoint? Do we want to expand it? What is the intent of the board at that point? So that is how it's currently written for your approval today.
And we've agreed that we will work as hard as we can to get that paperwork in as soon as we can to make that easier for the people that administer it at the commissioner's office. We'll work together with them. We've met with them and they want us at least a couple weeks so that they can get that all in, and we're willing to do that. Whatever we can do to make this work, but we need this for our ability to hire good people.
And we would use this pilot to write the policy on how this would work, in terms of there isn't a policy. So that's another reasoning for doing a pilot period so that we can draft the policies, the procedures, so that if you did want to expand it, we could do that. We'd be in a good position to do that.
And to your point, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, look at some of these academy classes that are going through right now. Academies that had 40, 50 people in them have 10 people, 12 people. And out of those, maybe 60% of those are already committed to going somewhere. That maybe leaves 4 open enrollments to be going to other places. So, I mean, I totally agree with you. It is difficult, and I experienced that, on that side of it, and it's not a comfortable position to be in. And then the other part is as you get somebody, almost to the one and goal, and then all of a sudden they decide they're going somewhere else because of that. And I think that it's a valid argument, and I'll make the motion to support it.
I'll second it so that we have a chance to vote, but I do want to have further discussion. So I don't think we should have one county policy. I think we should have one county policy countywide, not a specific one for the sheriff's office, and then another one for the rest of the workforce. I mean, our JFS employees are being put in harm's way when they're going to a scene. I mean, there are other employees. I mean, the dog warden is sometimes has issues, and I understand your hiring process is more extensive. I get that, but I think we shouldn't have favorite children. As commissioners, we should treat everyone the same. But the problem with rolling this out countywide is, according to our staff, if we did this last year, it would have cost taxpayers $332,000 annually. So that's not just a one-time cost, that's going forward, and it's probably increasing every year. And at this point, I haven't heard enough reason to justify that kind of extreme cost when taxpayers just keep telling us they want us to spend less and less money. And for those employees where health insurance is a deciding factor for where they're gonna land, we do have the option of COBRA right now. We don't need to offer it from everyone because it's not a deciding factor for everyone, and it can bridge that gap for most employees. I've asked for some data about, how many employees are we losing because they don't qualify for COBRA, and I haven't been given any data on that, which that seems to tell me that that's not happening that much. And then, one of the biggest issues, in my opinion, is we've received one formal legal opinion on this issue, and they told us that, this resolution would be contrary to that opinion. So at this time, I'm not comfortable supporting the resolution.
But of that 300,000 estimate, some of that is being spent on COBRA.
No, that's
So
fair.
you have to subtract that because,
That's fair.
And any time I'm sure you realize, any time that you're paying Cobra, it's more than what we would pay if it was just regular insurance.
It's 3% more than the premium. And when Joe Cattell was the engineer, that's what they did for a, rock star candidate coming into the engineer's office. They would pay the COBRA, which is only 3% more. And Amy, did we get AG's opinion on this?
We can.
Okay. All right. And I think this is a work in progress. Like you mentioned, people coming out of the police academy. I know in Burton Township, when I first started as a township trustee, we had a reimbursement program. And every person on the health care had a different plan. They paid for it, but we reimbursed X number of dollars. So if someone's coming out of the academy, we could reimburse them. If they literally get health insurance, we reimburse them. So at this time, I think this is a work in progress.
Yeah, but if you're going to pay for it then, why not pay for it through the county? I guarantee it's cheaper, and I don't know how you can say 3%. I mean, no disrespect to Joe, but you don't know what policy they have now where they're working. It could very much be 10 or 15% more. Depends on what policy that they're trying to continue with Cobra. And then the administration of that adds maybe 3%. But you don't know what policy they have or what, because a large group is going to get a better deal than a smaller township or city, or depends on how many people in there. So, I don't know if you can make that distinction as only 3%.
Well, that's my understanding. It might be 5%, but it's still, you're providing someone with COBRA, and the county is paying for it, so.
Right, and we're not paying for COBRA for every new employee. Just the ones where it seems like it's a deal breaker for them. So it's not like we're paying $332,000 versus $332,000 plus maybe 3% or whatever.
Well, this is.
I'd like to keep working, me personally, I'd like to keep working on this to solve this problem.
I don't know what more we're going to work on. I mean, it's pretty much, we've met with you 3 or 4 times, and we're asking you for help with this, and it's up to you guys, I guess. You've heard our side of the story, you've heard our plea, so.
Well, I'll get a number on exactly if it's 3% or 5% or 6% for COBRA. Any more discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Yes.
Commissioner Brinkley.
No.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Still think it's a work in progress. My vote is no.
Okay, we'll move to item number 3.
Apologize, Adrian Gorton with the Commissioner's Office. For some reason, the copier thought I had ledger paper in there instead of legal paper, so we'll still have to try and get that figured out. I had to use a different copier, so apologize for being late. So today's financials include a formal contract encumbrance from maintenance to Architectural Siding, Trim, and Roofing Incorporated for the Annex Roof Upgrade Project. Among the vouchers is $263,145.40 from the engineer's office to Roniak Paving Incorporated for payment application number 1 of the asphalt resurfacing of sections E through F of Mumford Road. $357,687.70 from the engineer's office to Geauga Highway Company for payment application number 1 of the asphalt resurfacing of sections B through C of Messenger Road, and $33,091.81 from maintenance to VL Chapman Electric Incorporated for work being done at the West Geauga Senior Center to install a new generator.
I move to approve the advance
Second.
financials.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Adrian, would you mind just staying just for a second? Can we jump to 6? Chris, do you have enough time?
Sure.
Okay, so let's talk about number 6 if we could, and then just Adrian, if they have any questions,
Sure.
you've got all of it at the top of your head.
Okay.
So item number 6, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the letter of engagement with Gallagher Sharp LLP for general counsel services through December 31st, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $15,000 unless prior approval by the board. So I had sent over to the board yesterday kind of a rundown on the different outside counsels that we have. Gallagher Sharp is cheaper, and they do have a...
Less expensive.
Yes, they have a less expensive rate.
That's different than cheaper.
Okay,
Yeah, all right.
a less expensive rate than Myers-Roman. So we would like to do a letter of engagement with them, and this is following the motion that occurred in last week's session for Sheila with Courthouse News. And furthermore, we'd like to decrease at some point, or we could consider decreasing our engagement letter with McDonald Hopkins down, since we're not using them as much, decreasing them down to 15,000. That's it.
All right, so you're just looking for the letter of engagement for Gallagher Sharp.
Yes.
So I'll move to approve item number 6.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yep, 4 minutes.
Yes.
We're waiting for the time clock. We have a pass around be in attendance for today's public hearing.
Just twiddling our thumbs for 2 minutes.
1 minute,
1 minute.
less than 1 minute.
How you doing, Adrian? Good, are you? Good.
I'm telling you.
It's now 10 o'clock, and Do we need a motion to go into public hearing?
We will open the public hearing at 10 o'clock for the proposed road name change of a portion of Osmond Road to Levi Lane. Do we have a motion to waive the reading of the legal notice?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Or call for vote?
Commissioner Spitaleri?
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Okay, anyone that is here that wishes to speak during today's public hearing, we need all of you to stand so that you can be sworn in for your testimony today.
You want me to do it? Okay, please raise your right hand. Anyone that might speak too, even if you're not sure, you just stand up.
That way we don't have to do it multiple times.
Yeah, exactly. Do you promise to testify truthfully under penalty of perjury? Yes. Thank you.
Request? We could start with the request from the family for the,
Are we
Portion.
going to do an explanation of the change first?
Well, it's kind of like all part of it.
If everyone knows what we're talking about.
So part of the legal notice was that it is for a proposed road name change for a portion of Osmond Road, TR 132 in Burton Township and Clarendon Township, in accordance with ORC 5541.04. The proposed road name is for a portion of Osmond defined as follows. It's a southerly terminus at the center line intersection of Osmond Road, TR 132 with Butternut Road, County Road 21. Northerly terminus at the northern terminus of Osmond Road, TR 132. The total center line length between these termini is approximately 0.407 miles, consisting of 0.243 miles in Burton Township and 0.165 miles in Clarendon Township. The proposed name change is to Levi Lane, TR 1080.
you guys want to come up and
Explain.
explain your request, and we'll go from there.
So my name is Jeffrey Beck. This is my wife, Mary Jo, and our son, Tate. We reside currently at 13400 Osmond Road in Burton, Ohio. I am a lifelong resident of Geauga County, former EMT and fireman at the Russell Fire Department. My wife and my two sons, we moved into Burton in 2022. We moved out to Burton to have our family be in a beautiful place that I grew up in, where it's peaceful, safe, surrounded by nature. That's what we wanted for our boys. Levi was born December 5th, 2022. We lost Levi March 5th, 2025. To something called sudden unexplained death in childhood. It's very rare. Based on the population roughly that we have in Geauga County, one child a year would die from SUDC. It's totally unknown as to why children die from SUDC. When you lose a child, don't know if anyone has here, it's what I think is probably the hardest thing a parent will ever have to face. And a big challenge for us is you stop hearing your child's name spoken. And the main reason this came about was an idea I had so that my son's name could be heard and said with some regularity outside of our house. And that's where the idea of having the northern section of Osmond Road, where we live, where we're the only residents with an address, changed to Levi Lane to honor our son, so his name could be said. The other portion of that is, with a road name change, certain people may ask, they may notice, they may see. It provides a chance for us to say Levi's name or for someone else to say his name, but also to explain to someone what SUDC is. It is one of the leading causes of children's death, age 1 to 4, that almost nobody has ever heard of, that gets no federal or government funding for research. And our own Geauga County coroner, Dr. Bancek, had never even heard of it. So there's different reasons as to why we want this changed, or are looking to have it changed, to honor our son so his name can be said, for the potential to raise awareness to SUDC, as it likely has happened to someone in Geauga County, but it was unknown to the coroner's office, as it's a very rare issue. As you can see, we have things like books of our son left. This is how we honor our son. And if you don't recall, maybe I wore a bright pink shirt, the same one last time 2 weeks ago. When I would have a big meeting for work, Levi would pick out my clothes, and he always picked this shirt. So that's why I wore this. And yeah, that's the basics of it. It doesn't appear to affect anyone, just changing the northern portion of Osmond Road. The southern portion would remain Osmond, and I know that there's history behind that name and the naming of it, and we appreciate that. And that is why we have come to the board to request this change.
Thanks for sharing all that with us. Could you just tell us a little bit about Levi? Like, what are some things he liked to do? What made him smile?
Yeah. Levi was totally healthy, happy little boy. He loved tools and working on projects around our property with me. He loved doing crafts and cooking with Mom. Unfortunately, Levi was only here 2 months with his little brother Tate, and he was very excited to have a little brother. He was very happy. He loved spending his time in our woods, and he helped us start our tradition of making maple syrup the night before he passed. So
I know what you're going through. We lost a daughter, February 1st of 17. And because of her drug lifestyle, she was a nurse. And losing a child is like having a broken arm the rest of your life. You don't know what day it's going to hurt. Sometimes I feel like it happened just yesterday, and sometimes it'll be 10 years, February 1st coming up. So it's always a tough Christmas for us, and New Year's and all that, because I try not to do too many activities on February 1st or her birthday. In my office, I have a picture, a collage, when she was playing sports and everything else. And she was our third daughter. And as some parents that have multiple children, we had 4. I had 3 girls, and summer baseball league. Instead of 3 different games, 3 different age groups, she always just moved up. And she did very well in sports. She was tough as nails. She was only 5 foot tall, but she seemed like she was 10 foot tall from time to time. So I understand what you're going through. Just wanted to share that with you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
And as far as, I've heard that from military, and I'm involved with Wreaths Across America. And when you lay that wreath down, you say that soldier's name. And then you lay the wreath down. So every time that soldier, that your name's repeated, some veteran told me that that person has never died, because the name is still comes up. And for my therapy, I got involved with the Red Tulip Project, which is the first safe, sober living for women in Geauga County. My son-in-law lost his sister June of 16, OD'd. And then the next year, we lost our daughter. So he's a builder, and we built a house in 11 months. With the great people of Geauga County, donating their time and money. So that's my therapy, was to have that house. And now that it's helped over 20 women go through the program, that they have 3 things leaving that program. They have a job, transportation, and the respect of the community because they want to be put back in the community and be normal like everybody else. So I feel your pain. So, but there is challenges with the name change of a road. I mean, I've always wanted a scholarship in my daughter's name from the Dvorak family. She was a nurse and having nursing at Kent State University, so I'm still working on that to have that someday. So then when the recipient gets that Jamie Dvorak scholarship, we'll hear that name again. So, but again, there is challenges of changing a road. So, and we're here to discuss that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Jason, you had your,
Come up, sit,
yeah,
stand.
come up and sit.
Again, Jason Sutter, Huntsburg Township, Burton Township employee and own property in Burton Township, diagonal to the proposed name change. I don't want to discredit anybody's feelings or losses. We've all had issues in our lives where we've had losses and experienced these things. Mine was not my child, mine was my mother. So I just want to address the name change as I don't think that's the proper way that the county should move forward with losses to any family of our 96,000 residents here in Geauga County. That's my opinion. It's going to take tax dollars to record and survey and do those type of things. And like I said, no offense to the Becks or anybody else in this room who's had losses, but I don't think that's a proper use of tax dollars.
Could you talk about, at least from the township side, what is the cost? Like, what will that cost?
Well, the cost would be our manpower, which is minimal to put up a sign, but putting out a pole, which has a cost associated to it, and then the county no longer provides the printing of street name signs for the townships for free.
Okay.
So whatever that cost would be.
Can you estimate what those total costs would be?
I would assume the total cost to the township would probably be between $200 and $300 for.
Okay. If I wanted to donate to the township, could I donate $300 so that you were clear?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I do not know that.
I have no questions for Jason.
Thank you. Like I said, I don't want to discredit anybody's loss, and I feel terrible for the Becks. I do.
Andy Hopp, would you like to explain all the, you gave me the information, but it's on my phone, and I left my phone in my office, so if you can explain all the moving parts to, and challenges this has.
As your commissioners, Andy Hopp, Geauga County Engineer.
Get closer to the mic.
And don't mumble.
I know.
Okay. As your technical advisor, my condolences for your loss, as well as yours. As your technical advisor dealing into facts about the effects of a road name change, usually we see, I probably heard more than I've seen. The only one I've seen is a name called Piety Road, which was in Chesterland, which I believe went to Colony Lane. I have that wrong, I think. But that was 1954, and the reasons and the whys of that change are lost to history. But that's a whole nother time and place. Typically, we see road name changes because of duplicity. It's a safety for 911, for location, that's probably more the sheriff could answer on that. But basically, in the past, everybody knew where the roads were. It was dead reckoning. There was a lot of that, of the old. The days that we have now, GPS and phones, there's a multitude of records and things that are affected by that with mappings, just in mapping itself, Waze, Google Earth, and those are private companies. As for my office specifically, we maintain road records. That's by statute. The old name doesn't go away. It's another name that comes on top and another number that comes with it. We report that to ODOT for certified lane mileage so the townships can receive their funds they get for those roads. Our own county map I'm responsible to make. Of course, I have to change that. So many little things. It's not just the sign. Auditor has records that has to be updated. Recorder has records to update. Board of Elections. There's a slew of them. I think I wrote them down. If I could probably go through them if you'd like.
Please.
Okay. It's going to take glasses. I tried to capture this, what it touches. Obviously, the commissioner's records start right here. Engineer's office, I touched on a few of those. The county GIS system, engineer, we maintain a system. The auditor maintains the system, the RealLink system. 911 and addressing, sheriff's office records, MSAG, that's part of their 911 response. Fire departments, I know they have their own records of sorts. EMS providers, the auditor's records, property records, recorder, postal service, utility providers, all mapping companies, kind of what I mentioned. There's probably many more out there. School transportation systems and delivery services. Those are the typical. Some of them we notify when we recommend to the township an address for a new parcel split. That is some of the basic list of who we reach out to notify to create that record. So those records that are currently existing, those would all be touched. It's a touch. Time, obviously, there's costs associated with time. So basically, if a road name change, something that's existing, it's usually some sort of infrastructure or safety reason behind it. I'll put it that way. And again, not to diminish anything, the reasons why. This is the facts of what we do when it comes to mapping and addressing purposes. So I hope that helps with how many and what kind of chain reaction it does initiate when a road name change comes in. Okay?
I mean, I understand there's an administrative burden, but I mean, how long does any of this take? Is this like you reach out to, you change one thing in a spreadsheet and you're good to go?
In our office.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, in our office, it's more of a mapping, creating files. But as for the other offices, I can't answer that. It's more of a notification to what, hey, we have this new address or new change, and however long that takes, that's for the other offices, whatever that could be. So yeah, I can't.
It reminds me of like just changing my name when I got married, right? There's a lot of parties
stuff
that
that
have
happens,
to be
right.
notified, and then 10 years later, you're like, that's not my name.
Yeah, why'd I do that? No, kidding. I relate that more to when we have a lot split come through the tax map office. There's the recorder, the auditor, there's Board of Elections, there's many things that can happen. And once in a while, we'll have an address that'll pop up that's incorrect when it has to be changed. And not all of them have to be because of this burden that happens. If somebody has a mortgage, there's banking records. There's so many other things that are behind the scene that nobody really sees. Oh, just change your address. It's not that easy. And that's something existing. But in some of those cases, it's a misassigned address, which causes 911 an issue it's a safety issue. How do they get there? They're going to the wrong number. Now, technology has changed a lot of things with GIS. It's a latitude, longitude. It's a point on Earth rather than just a driveway entrance. But all these things are related together, and it's hard to put a number on it. I'm not going to say it's not. Is it, $1,000? Is it $15,000? If you want to add it all up, that's something that it's hard to say. But it's for us, it's not that detrimental to initiate this. It's not. I'm not talking $10,000 a time for my office.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that.
No, I appreciate you.
Okay.
explaining the process.
Yeah, it's an interesting one to dive into. It's not as clear as a simple lot split, but
Understood.
okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good morning. My name's Kevin Szynski. I live at the corner of Butternut and Osmond at this point. I'm I'm okay with the renaming of the dirt side. The south side is Osmond family was the farm that is on Osmond, or is depleting from Osmond. But my buddy, his mom was an Osmond, and I'd just like to keep the name there, at least on the south side.
Yeah, I think that's how it's proposed, right?
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure,
No,
you know,
that's fair.
something didn't get changed, and
Yep.
because that's pretty important to me as a friend. So,
The
Absolutely.
Osmonds.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for letting us
Yeah.
know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I understand we have to sit close, huh?
Or get the microphone towards you a little bit.
All right. I'm Ken Burnett. I'm a Burton Township trustee, and we have had very preliminary discussions on this at trustee meetings, nothing official in our minutes or anything. But as a township, we are not in favor of changing this name. You know, we have to, and let me back up just a minute. I've met the Beck several times, and I do have compassion for you. Many years ago, an aunt of mine had to bury her teenage son, and one of the things that she told me, and I remember this to the day, that you never expect to bury your children. And I know Mr. Dvorak can feel that. Interestingly enough, we just buried that aunt on Saturday, so that's kind of ripe in my mind. So, but from the township standpoint, and that's how I have to look at it as a trustee, and that's how our other trustees looked at it. We have to be very careful that we don't set a precedent. And, you know, I can cite, for example, Mr. Dvorak served as our township trustee for, I believe, at least 2 terms, maybe 2.5.
7 years.
You know, we were all impacted when his daughter passed away, and we did not take any action to name anything in honor of his daughter. Mr. Whiting, who has been a trustee at Burton Township for close to 40 years, I'm not sure he even remembers how many years. His daughter passed away here within the last couple of years, and we've not been asked to name, anything for Whiting Drive to that effect. So I don't want us to see setting a precedent. Like I said, my heart does go out to the Becks. They've been to several of our meetings. They're very nice people, but I don't believe there is a benefit to Burton Township, and that's what I have to look at. The Becks are technically Clarendon Township trustees, and we certainly don't hold that against them. But again, we have to, as a township trustee, my responsibilities are to the township in general, and I do not see that this name change benefits our township. I would like to see, encourage the Becks to pursue a different way to remember their child, certainly. So, thank you very much.
Anybody else?
I'm sitting all day, so I'm gonna stand. First off, my condolences to the family. It has been stated that you should never have to bury your child. I truly believe that changing the road name, especially if you're not changing the whole road name, would be disruptive for our emergency responses. Now, not to say it can't be changed, but all the GIFs and all of that information, when you're responding, it's not only what the county has, it's what's in our CAD system and the apps that map things. The last thing you would want to do is delay some response because of that. I truly believe personally that if you would dedicate that road in their name, Levi's name, much like we do with fallen soldiers. If you put up a sign, you can put up a sign that people would still ask, you know, why is this road dedicated? Or who is this person, which is, I guess, what you want to get the message out. I think that I would absolutely support that. I think that would be the best way to do this. Unfortunately, things like this happen all the time, and it's horrible. We had a little boy up on Aquila Road that died very young of cancer, and we actually participated with them and gave him his last ride on a fire truck, because that's what he always wanted to do. And it's so sad, but God has a way of doing these things for a reason, I believe. And at their house on Aquila Road, and it's right across from Aquila Village, there still is a sign with Dutch's name on it. And that's the way I go home every day. And every day I look at that sign and think about that little boy and the picture I have with him in my fire uniform with him, and he made him so happy. So I truly believe that if you could dedicate that road, you put the sign up and dedicate the road in his name, it would be much less disruptive than it would be to try to change the road name. I truly believe that. And the precedent-setting case, unfortunately, would be, I think, a problem throughout the county. So to dedicate that road, I totally support that, would help with it. I don't think it's a financial issue. It's not how much does it cost. It's that we just practically cannot have a bunch of different road names out throughout the county. It would be very disruptive for emergency services and prior fire service. I'm sure you understand some of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak on this topic?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm going to add again, just so that the commissioners are clear, is that there is only one house, one address on this section of the road that is proposed to rename. So it seems like the two arguments made today were essentially administrative burden and the precedent it sets. But I do think this is a very unique situation where there is one house on that street that would have to change their address.
Well, I agree with the sheriff, and even in my notes before the meeting even started, some kind of plaque honoring your son in my notes before the meeting, and then dedicating a road with a sign. I think that would, then his name would still come up, still be spoken, not forgotten. Me personally, I think that's the route we should take, dedicate the road with a sign. Any thoughts, Val?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, this is always more of an emotional discussion because of the fact that it involves, a child dying that nobody wants to deal with, and I understand that, and it's got to be, incredibly difficult. But I had learned of this just last week when we had made the motion for the public hearing. So I tried to follow up with Andy, the engineer, and trying to learn a little bit more about this. And I can tell you, throughout almost 14 years of doing the commissioners, seat here in Geauga County, this has come out, multiple times, and multiple times even on the military side of things, that there was soldiers killed in action, and there's always been a road dedication rather than a change in a road. You'll see it on Mayfield Road as you start to come up the hill. You'll see it over by Legacy Woods, Veterans, the Veterans Park, and and I talked to Andy a little bit more about this also. Is even with that, there's still a process, correct, Andy, that we would have to go through of dedicating a road, but it's much more less impact in the sense of resources and things that we have to do. But I can tell you that we, over the years, we've been approached multiple times on this, and it's always been a situation that, Lake Township Burnett said, is that we start to create a precedence. And I think that is truly something that I worry about, because, I drove down the road, and I don't know if your house is all the way at the end on the right. Is that where it's at with the flag in the back? The thing that strikes me is right now there's no residences there other than your own. But there's still quite a distance between the corner to that down the road there could be more homes built also for identification reasons of numbers and stuff. So I get there's only one home there now, but and to the left is the Jewish Community Center park or whatever the camp that they've got there, that we don't know today till in a year from now it could be sold and something goes in there. But nevertheless, I think that talking to a lot of the military families over the years too, I think that impact of having that dedication more so than a name change, I think is like what Sheriff Hildebrand said too. People become kind of blind to a road name just as far as a sign, but that dedication, I can tell you, every time I come up Mayfield Road, my eyes go directly to that soldier that was killed in action, and it truly is. I just believe that that's a lot more impactful, and I think that it's this isn't a situation we should use the word easy, but I think that it is something that is a lot simpler process, but I think that it'll still suit the ability of not losing, Levi and your memory and anyone that would come down there. And I would support that all day long. And I, apologize for your loss. I can only imagine the pain that every day waking up without a child's got to be.
I just want to clarify. I mean, I pointed out that there's only that one address on that street because it's not inconveniencing anyone to the extent there would be additional properties added. Then, I mean, they get a new address anyway, so.
Okay.
Commissioner, anything else, David?
Sure.
As a bridge engineer, I've seen many bridges dedicated to veterans, et cetera. There's a bridge on Osmond Road. You drive over it every day. There'll be a sign on it. And that sign will be in the records of the bridge. Does not alter 911, does not alter the road name, number, affect anything but the bridge record. It's an offer. It could be done, but it's your infrastructure. But it's something that we could look into to make something happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Go ahead. Come on up.
I'll use the mic.
Okay.
Nick Gorse, I am a Burton Township resident, but following up on what Sheriff Hildebrand said, there is a recent dedication, the Dr. Stephen Takis Highway on Kinsman Road from 44 to Sperry Road. So that is something that just recently happened. If you want to see what those signs look like, it's right. If you're on 87 headed west, it's as big as day, and it's a memorial sign for somebody. So that is an option.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak? Okay. So we close the public.
With no other additional comments or questions, we can close the public hearing. It is 10:34. And there will be no decision today. There will be future discussion and amongst the board on a pathway forward. We're closed the public hearing. We're back in regular session.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, board discussion, water resources.
Morning, Commissioners. Nick Gorse, Water Resources. Just an additional exhibit to go with what I provided in your packet. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
The discussion on the agenda is to discuss a request we received from the Ohio Department of Transportation regarding acquisition of an easement permanent parcel 26705400, also known as 14909 Surrey Downs Drive in Russell Township, depicted on your exhibit that I provided today. It's also, that parcel is also the location of the Surrey Downs wastewater treatment plant that is operated and maintained by the Department of Water Resources. ODOT is requesting a permanent easement of .070 acres of for public highway or road purposes, including but not limited to any utility construction, relocation, and/or utility maintenance work deemed appropriate by ODOT. For those in attendance, ODOT is planning to do a bridge replacement work. If you've driven 87 in Russell Township in the last week and a half, you'll notice that ODOT is resurfacing that portion, and you'll notice they stopped resurfacing before the bridge and after the bridge. So that's the bridge in question of where they need or requesting this easement. We received the initial correspondence from a consultant for ODOT back in November of 2025 requesting an easement. That came by email through the commissioner's email. We took the lead on it as Water Resources, being that it's a parcel that we maintain for the commissioners. We reached out multiple times with the consultant. No response came back. Recently found out that the person that we were corresponding with left the company. So on the 22nd, John Mandula from EDG called up and reached out and asked to come sit. We sat down. He provided me their paperwork. So I actually signed a notice of receipt that we received their offer. Said I would bring it to the commissioners for discussion to see which direction we wanted to go. Once I knew it was on our agenda, I reached back out to the consultant, and the individual I spoke to is no longer with that company and gave me another one. So that brings us to today. Basically, they're asking for a .070 portion of a 1.878 acre parcel. It's less than 4%. If you look at the exhibit, it looks like it'd be nice to, or the first, what I sent you in your packet, if they would have just drawn a straight line when they originally took the easement, when they built, this would be not a question, a point of question. The area question also is part of the creek or the river or channel that is underneath, unusable to us. Water Resources' early concern was how much land or how it was going to affect the topography as our wastewater treatment plant outfall drains into that creek. So that was the original, our intent or our request. Long story short, it's not going to affect us. The easement is not something that we'll use, or that area. So that takes us to the next step for a discussion, of which we'll look at later, is we have two options. One would be to donate the easement, or to accept the offer that they've presented in the amount of $3,150. I'm not asking for any action today. Obviously, it's a discussion. I just need a direction of a potential of which method of paperwork I need to send to the APA. My recommendation is going to be to go for the $3,150. And then I would be asking, if we do this, for that money to be given to the Department of Water Resources for use for operation and maintenance of that parcel. So
The paperwork you give us have the price on it, because I was trying to find it when I was looking.
I think
It talks about, giving a fair market value, and I was like, well, what's the fair market value of an easement of not very much?
And I think I don't know if I did actually, I think I just gave you the plan sheet of what it was, but the offer for that .07 acre is $3,150. For the vacant land or for that area of use, comparables, about $45,000 an acre. So is what they came back with. And all that paperwork is in our packet, but it gives me I'll call it a choose your own adventure. If we donate it, it's certain paperwork. If we go after the compensation, there's other paperwork and resolutions that'll have to get approved.
Is it more paperwork if you take the money?
No. It's also resolutions that either Water Resources APA or, the Commissioners APA will review. Very similar to what was recently done on 87 in Burton Township, done by Post 2. So,
But yeah, so I mean, I guess the question is it worth bending over and picking up $3,100, right?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for us, if I was just a resident, they'd be paying the resident. There isn't a lot of, and it's money that we can use to do operation and maintenance with. So, again, just to get it in front of you regarding, I'll send the paperwork up to the APA to get it for review and then present an actual action in the near future.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, anything else for board discussion?
Nope.
All
I'm
right.
good.
Moving on to item number 9, public comment. Those wishing to make a comment or ask a question on matters of concern, please raise your hand to be called upon. Begin by stating your full name and township or municipality, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to comment or ask a question, and are kindly asked to refrain from disorderly or disruptive conduct.
Any public comment at this time? Hearing none.
I'll move to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
All in favor?
Aye.